This first poem is a poem in 5 sections. I'll read the numbers. It's called Landscape. 1. The sun is setting behind the mountains. The earth is cooling. A stranger has tied his horse to a bare chestnut tree. The horse is quiet. He turns his head suddenly, hearing in the distance the sound of the sea. I make my bed for the night here, spreading my heaviest quilt over the damp earth. The sound of the sea. When the horse turns its head, I can hear it. On a path through the bare chestnut trees, a little dog trails its master. The little dog, didn't he used to rush ahead, straining the leash as though to show his master what he sees there in the future, the path, call it what you will. Behind the trees at sunset, it is as though a great fire is burning between 2 mountains, so that the snow on the highest precipice seems for a moment to be burning also. Listen. At the path's end, the man is calling out. His voice has become very strange now, the voice of a person calling to what he can't see. Over and over, he calls out among the dark chestnut trees until the animal responds faintly from a great distance, as though this thing we fear were not terrible. Twilight. The stranger has untied his horse. The sound of the sea, just memory now. Time passed, turning everything to ice. Under the ice, the future stirred. If you fell into it, you died. It was a time of waiting, of suspended action. I lived in the present, which was that part of the future you could see. The past floated above my head like the sun and moon, visible but never reachable. It was a time governed by contradictions, as in, I felt nothing and I was afraid. Winter emptied the trees, filled them again with snow. Because I couldn't feel, snow fell, the lake froze over. Because I was afraid, I didn't move. My breath was white, a description of silence. Time passed, and some of it became this, and some of it simply evaporated. You could see it float above the white trees, forming particles of ice. All your life you wait for the propitious time. Then the propitious time reveals itself as action taken. I watched the past move, a line of clouds moving from left to right or right to left, depending on the wind. Some days there was no wind. The clouds seemed to stay where they were, like a painting of the sea, more still than real. Some days the lake was a sheet of glass. Under the glass, the future made demure, inviting sounds. You had to tense yourself so as not to listen. Time passed. You got to see a piece of it. The years it took with it were years of winter. They would not be missed. Some days there were no clouds, as though the sources of the past had vanished. The world was bleached like a negative. The light passed directly through it. Then the image faded. Above the world, there was only blue, blue everywhere. 3. In late autumn, a young girl set fire to a field of wheat. The autumn had been very dry. The field went up like tinder. Afterward, there was nothing left. You walk through it, you see nothing. There's nothing to pick up, to smell. The horses don't understand it. Where is the field, they seem to say, the way you and I would say, where is home? No one knows how to answer them. There is nothing left. You have to hope for the farmer's sake the insurance will pay. It is like losing a year of your life. To what would you lose a year of your life? Afterward, you go back to the old place. All that remains is char, blackness, and emptiness. You think, how could I live here? But it was different then, even last summer. The earth behaved as though nothing could go wrong with it. One match was all it took, but at the right time. It had to be the right time. The field, parched, dry, the deadness in place already, so to speak.